Listen carefully, because what I'm about to reveal will make everything make sense. You've been targeted by a coordinated group, and they thought you'd crumble under the weight of their combined attack. They gathered in circles, speaking your name with venom, convinced that their collective energy would break you into pieces. But here's what they didn't calculate. You weren't standing alone, and the force protecting you operates on frequencies they can't even comprehend. Right now, across spiritual dimensions they don't understand, their names are being whispered as a warning, a cautionary tale about what happens when you underestimate someone carrying authentic power. If you're feeling that unmistakable confirmation rising in your chest right now, that recognition that this message was meant specifically for you, don't scroll past this moment. What's unfolding around you isn't coincidence, and the shift you're sensing in the atmosphere is evidence of a cosmic reordering that's been set in motion. They came as a pack because they knew facing you individually would expose their weakness, but their strategy of strength in numbers has backfired in ways that are now becoming legendary. Subscribe right now, because you're part of a community that recognizes what you carry, and there are revelations coming that will blow your mind wide open. The attack wasn't random, and it wasn't personal in the way you might think. They didn't target you because of something you did to them. They targeted you because of what you represent, what you carry, what you're becoming. Groups form around shared fear, and you terrified them on a level they couldn't articulate. Your presence disrupted their illusions. Your clarity exposed their games. Your authenticity made their performances look hollow. So they did what frightened people always do when they can't control someone. They conspired. They built narratives, twisted truths, manufactured stories, and convinced themselves that if enough of them agreed, reality would bend to their version. But here's the part that's turning into folklore in realms they can't see. Every single tactic they deployed became the very tool of their own undoing. The lies they spread began eating them from the inside out, creating paranoia in their own circles. The traps they set for you became the snares they stepped into themselves. The energy they sent toward you returned to them multiplied, and now they're experiencing internal chaos they can't explain or escape. You didn't have to defend yourself, didn't have to expose them, didn't have to gather your own army. You simply stood firm, and that unwavering presence became the mirror that reflected all their darkness back to its source. What's happening to them now isn't revenge you orchestrated or spells you cast. It's natural law operating with precision. They planted seeds of deception, betrayal, manipulation, and coordinated harm. And now, the harvest season has arrived for them. Confusion where there was once certainty, division where there was once false unity, exposure in places they thought were hidden, loss of peace they took for granted, doors closing that used to swing open effortlessly. Every single member of that group is now carrying weight they can't shake, and when they look at each other, they see the very paranoia and suspicion they tried to create around you. If this is confirming what you've been sensing, type "crush them" in the comments. There's a community here that understands exactly what you've walked through, and your testimony will strengthen someone else who's currently in the fire. Remember, you're not celebrating their downfall. You're recognizing the operation of cosmic justice that functions whether humans acknowledge it or not. Your only job was to remain standing, and you did that with a grace they couldn't comprehend and still can't replicate. Here's what makes your story legendary. You didn't just survive their coordinated attack, you thrived through it. While they were busy plotting in their little circles, You were elevating in ways they'll never understand. Every hour they spent focused on bringing you down was an hour they weren't spending on their own growth, their own healing, their own evolution. You, on the other hand, used that same season to sharpen discernment, strengthen your inner foundation, deepen your understanding of human nature, and build unshakable confidence in who you are. They thought they were attacking you, but they were actually funding your training program. The beautiful irony is that their attacks forced you to discover capabilities you didn't know you possessed. You learned to stand when support systems collapsed. You learned to trust your inner knowing when external voices screamed contradictions. You learned to maintain composure when chaos swirled around you. You learned to discern truth from performance, authenticity from manipulation, genuine concern from strategic positioning. Every tactic they used became a teacher, and you graduated with honors they'll never earn. Now you move through the world with a calibration they can't touch, and that's what truly terrifies them. They're watching you now from a distance they can't close, seeing you flourish in ways that make no logical sense to them. By their calculations, you should be broken, isolated, defeated, questioning everything about yourself. But instead, you're more powerful, more focused, more aligned, and more unstoppable than ever before. That cognitive dissonance is destroying them from the inside out because it forces them to confront a reality they've been avoiding. They never had the power they thought they had, and you never needed their approval, validation, or participation in your journey. Listen closely to this next part, because it's crucial for your continued elevation. Some of them are going to attempt to return, not because they've genuinely changed, but because they're experiencing the consequences of losing access to your energy. They'll come with apologies that sound rehearsed, humility that feels performative, explanations that don't quite add up, and requests for closure or healing that are really just attempts to get back within your field. Your discernment must remain razor sharp in this season. Forgiveness doesn't require reconnection, and grace doesn't demand giving people another opportunity to harm you. You've been separated from that group for a reason that goes beyond what they did to you. They were never meant to accompany you where you're headed next. Their presence would contaminate the atmosphere of your next level, dilute the focus required for your next assignment, and compromise the integrity of what you're building. The removal wasn't punishment, it was protection. The isolation wasn't rejection, it was preparation. Every person who exited your life during that coordinated attack was making room for aligned connections that will actually support the weight of your calling. If you're feeling the urge to let any of them back in, pause and ask yourself these questions. Is this wisdom speaking or loneliness? Is this restoration or regression? Is this forgiveness or people-pleasing? Is this a genuine shift in them or just discomfort with consequences they're experiencing? Most importantly, has anything actually changed in their character, or have they just changed their approach? Remember, snakes don't stop being snakes because they learn to move more quietly. Your compassion is beautiful, but it cannot come at the expense of your protection. Here's what's becoming clear to everyone watching your story unfold. You possess something they can't replicate, can't steal, can't diminish, and can't understand. It's not just confidence, though you have that. It's not just resilience, though you've demonstrated that. It's not just intelligence, though you clearly carry that. It's an alignment with truth, an authenticity of presence, a clarity of vision, and an integrity of character that operates independently of external validation or opposition. You are becoming the person they pretended to be, and that transformation is being witnessed by realms they don't believe in and can't access. The legend of how you crushed them solo isn't being told in human circles alone. Your name is being spoken in dimensions of consciousness they can't perceive, used as an example of what happens when someone refuses to abandon their truth despite coordinated opposition. You didn't need a countergroup, didn't need to match their energy, didn't need to play their game. You simply stood firm in your authentic power, and that stance alone dismantled their entire operation. That's the level of authority you carry now, and it's only increasing. Every attempt they made to diminish you actually amplified your light. Every lie they spread about you created opportunities for truth to demonstrate itself through your life. Every door they tried to close forced you toward doors they didn't even know existed. Every relationship they poisoned against you removed people who were never strong enough to stand with you anyway. They thought they were destroying your foundation, but they were actually clearing the ground for something unshakable to be built. The structure of your life now has no weak points, because every weakness was tested, exposed, and reinforced during their attack. Here's something they're starting to realize too late. You were never in competition with them. While they were obsessed with you, you were focused on your purpose. While they were building cases against you, you were building your character. While they were gathering armies, you were gathering wisdom. While they were plotting your downfall, you were plotting your elevation. The playing fields were never even the same, and that misalignment is what guaranteed their failure. You can't defeat someone who isn't playing the game you're playing. Type solo victory if you recognize this pattern in your own journey. There's power in acknowledging what you've overcome, not from arrogance, but from honest recognition of growth. Your story isn't finished. This is just one chapter, but it's a chapter that needed to be written so you'd know what you're capable of when hell itself organizes against you. The answer is simple. You're capable of standing, thriving, and emerging stronger than before. Now, let's talk about what's next, because your elevation doesn't stop at their defeat. You're entering a season where your presence alone will shift atmospheres, where your words will carry weight that commands attention, where your decisions will open pathways others can't see, where your alignment will attract opportunities that bypass normal channels. This isn't arrogance. It's the natural result of surviving what would have destroyed most people. You've been refined in fires that would have reduced others to ash, and what emerges from that kind of heat isn't the same substance that entered it. You're going to encounter new circles, new opportunities, new relationships, and new assignments. Carry the lessons from this battle into every new space you enter. Not everyone who smiles is safe. Not everyone who speaks your language shares your values. Not everyone who appears successful has integrity. Not everyone who wants access to you has earned it. Your discernment is now your greatest asset. Protect it, trust it, develop it, and never apologize for it. The people who belong in your life will appreciate your boundaries, not resent them. The final thing I want you to understand is this. Your victory over that coordinated attack wasn't just for you. Someone watching your life needed to see that it's possible to stand alone and still win. Someone needed evidence that truth doesn't need a majority to prevail. Someone needed proof that authentic power doesn't require performance or pretense. Someone needed confirmation that you can be targeted by a group and still emerge victorious. Your story is now a blueprint, a testimony, a roadmap for others who will face similar attacks. So move forward without guilt about their current state, without bitterness about what they put you through, without fear that they'll rise again to harm you. Their season of influence over your life has permanently ended, and the separation is irreversible because it was orchestrated at a level beyond human manipulation. Walk in your authority, own your power, embrace your authenticity, and watch how the universe continues to rearrange itself around your unwavering presence. You crushed them solo, and that's a victory that will echo through your entire lifetime. Stay focused, stay aligned, and stay ready for everything that's about to unfold in your favor.